Hey guys, welcome back. So, tell me, does this sound familiar to you? I've got an assignment that's due tomorrow at 6 p.m. And, I know, I should have started it days ago. But, well, there's still time, right? I mean, I can start working on it tonight and tomorrow, but first let me just finish off the Fallout series this afternoon.
8 hours later.
It's kind of getting late now, and let's be honest, I am not as creative at night anyways. So, why don't I wake up earlier tomorrow morning to work on it? There's still plenty of time till the deadline.
The following day.
It's way too early. Just a few more minutes of sleep won't hurt, right? I'm not exactly a morning person anyways. I'll just wake up at noon and speed run the assignment.
Much later.
No, shit!
Well, I guess we have all had similar experiences in the past. And yes, this is called procrastination. But don't worry, guys. We're going to break this habit today with some really effective strategies from the experts. Without further ado, let's dive right in.
There was a really weird study published in Science in 2014. So in this study, they got a bunch of undergraduate students to sit in an empty room by themselves with absolutely nothing to do and be alone with their own thoughts. But they had one other option, and that was to electrocute themselves with a shocky button. And it turns out 67% of the men and 25% of the women decided that electrocution was better than boredom. And some of the students electrocuted themselves multiple times. Even the ones that didn't electrocute themselves either strongly considered it or at least lamented as to how miserable the quiet time was and how boring it was. I think it's a great example as to how much human beings dislike being bored. The key is to strip away every single option, to sit in a blank room with nothing in it, no phone, nothing. Eliminate your ability to do anything other than the thing that you need to do, and you will do it.
The research is clear. The most important factor to determining behavior change is your environment. You want to set up your environment in such a way that your desired change becomes inevitable. In fact, it's forced by the environment itself. You want to lose weight? Then clear all the junk food out of your fridge. Then pre-order all of your meals for the next month in advance when you're not hungry. Want to wake up early? Set multiple alarm clocks up, each on the other side of the room. Smart people procrastinate more because they're so smart they can find twice as many bullshit excuses to not do something.
As humans, we don't take action unless the pain of inaction is too great to handle.
The best productivity advice I ever got was from my high school math teacher. He told us, if you're ever stuck on a problem, don't just stare at it. Start writing and rewriting it in different ways. The simple act of writing will then spur new ideas and help you solve it. Now, this sounded crazy and a bit woo-woo to me, but I quickly discovered it was true. And not only was it true with math problems, but it was true for everything in life. Don't want to exercise? Well, put your shoes on and walk around the block. Suddenly it feels kind of easy to start running. Don't know how to ask your boss for a raise? Well, walk into their office and ask for 10 minutes of their time. Suddenly the conversation flows from there. I've started calling this the do something principle. When you feel stuck, do something, anything, no matter how small, and the rest will begin to naturally follow. The do something principle works because it turns out that action is not the result of motivation, but actually the cause of motivation. Now, in regards to the action that you specifically want to take, ask yourself, what are the simplest and smallest actions that you can take today that will move you towards your goal? This can be as small and simple as opening up a Word document and writing the title of the book that you've always dreamed of writing. It can be as simple as texting an old friend and asking them how they're doing. Start with something so small that the snowball can't help but get going. And this is why I always tell people the point of your goals are not actually your goals. I mean, sure, it's cool to lose 20 pounds or take an extra vacation or buy a house. These are good things to work towards, don't get me wrong, but don't mix it up. It's not the thing you're chasing that makes you feel good. It's the chasing itself. It's taking action. It's the movement between point A and point B.
If you were to take that state of being unmotivated, of procrastinating, and actually do something that's harder than being in that amotivated state, in other words, doing something that's more effortful, even painful, you can rebound yourself out of that dopamine trough much more quickly. When I say more painful. I do not mean doing any kind of tissue damaging or psychologically damaging behavior or anything of that sort that's going to render you injured or not well, even in the short term. If you're sitting around feeling amotivated or you find yourself tending to tasks that are irrelevant to the goal that you really should be focused on, you need to put your body and mind into a state of discomfort quickly. And the way to do that is to either engage in some tangential activity, meaning an activity not related to your goal that puts your body into a very different state. So here again, I'll default to the obvious one, which is something like cold shower or cold immersion, which not only increases dopamine long-term, but for most people is experienced as pain. That pain causes a rebound out of that dopamine trough faster than it would occur if you had just stayed in that amotivated state and waited for it to go away.
Usually the reason why we procrastinate from things is because there's some sort of emotional blocker that's gotten in our way. There's some sort of internal resistance to the idea of doing the task, and underneath that resistance, there's always some kind of negative emotion. In my experience, that negative emotion almost always tends to be fear of some sort. And so the way that I think about this is that when I'm procrastinating from something, what is my underlying fear? Like, is it a fear of what other people will think of me? Is it a fear of not being good enough? Is it a fear of failure? Is it a fear of success? Is it a fear of boredom? And so there's some sort of negative emotion which causes me to feel bad about starting the task, and therefore I give into feeling good. And when we give into feeling good, that is what fuels the cycle of procrastination. And so with that in mind, if we understand that generally 95% of the time there is an emotional blocker to our procrastination, it means we can start taking steps to overcome that. And the first step is to name the fear. Personally, the thing I find most helpful here is just journaling. If I'm procrastinating for something for a very long time, I will either just think in my mind, like, what's the fear here? And try and name it to be like, what am I actually scared of? And usually I'll find that, okay, I'm feeling this sense of aversion, this emotional aversion to doing this task. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm worried about da-da-da. Now, getting over our fears and like overcoming fears and acting in the face of fear is a lifelong endeavor. But generally what I find, and what the research suggests as well, is that when you name that fear, when you bring it out into the light, it reduces the power that it has over us.
I think these are 4 really promising protocols to follow if you are procrastinating a lot. Why don't you guys try it out and let me know how effective they are in the comment section below. Well, until next time, I'm out.